Hello there. Okay, so in this training, I'm going to take you through a process that I go through every time I work directly with a client. And then this is what I also teach my copywriting mentees or students. And it's about how to get inside the head of your ideal client, inside your target audience, so that you're creating messaging that really resonates with them, that's fully aligned with what it is that you do and attracts the dream clients that you want to work with. And so I've called it Conversations, Not Copy, because it is at heart about having conversations and about listening to your people instead of applying copywriting frameworks and templates and stuff, which can generally just not work for a lot of people particularly well, at least on their own. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take you through this process with an example client project of mine in the real world. So this is an actual project that I worked on. I have sort of edited things down a bit just to make it easier to follow, but this is the process I go through every time I work with a client to write any sort of sales copy for their business. And this example is the final product was a sales page that launched a new income stream for this client, and he, because he's going to be doing it regularly throughout the year, it's going to become a six-figure revenue stream for his business. And so a big part, as you can see from his testimonial, of what we did that worked here was that we went through all this research process and the avatar and the messaging to make sure that the sales page was spot on. So that's what I'm going to go through with you at the moment. So what we're going to be looking at are three things: customer voice research. I'm going to walk you through what I call my messaging matrix. So this is where you collate what it is that you learn about your ideal client into a document that we can then use to write anything for your business. But as I say, I'm going to show you an example with a sales page, and then I'm going to go through the framework that I use and show you how to layer the messaging and the client language onto this framework, again using this specific example. So before we begin, just to get clear a bit about the background of my client. So he's the founder of women-only gyms. He's got two. I think he's in the process of opening his third. He's got a broad niche, or the broad niche is that he women aged over the age of 35 who go to his gym. And what we were launching here was a program, an online program to support them alongside their gym membership to to hit some goals. And the target market for this program were women who were already members of his gym. And I'll just tell you all this because it's really important that you have all this stuff clear before you do anything. So, he's got different parts of his business. So this wasn't about attracting new people into his world. It was about upselling existing people to a different program. And that's the first thing you need to get clear before you write anything is like, who exactly is it for? And what is it exactly that you're going to be helping them with? So customer voice research. So basically, what this is as a copywriter, this is how you get trained. So we don't get trained to kind of brainstorm, which is what kind of happens a lot in the online space. These are, that marketing advice to do that, to try and like guess basically what your ideal client is thinking, isn't necessarily the best approach to writing your copy. So this much more effective approach is to do actual research. And by that, it just means having conversations with people. And it's a really straightforward thing that you can do. And it will give you genuine insights into the specific circumstances of your audience and clients, and allows you to write much better copy that's much more dialed in to, what it is they need and how you can help them. It's really important because, A, you know that you're getting language that is exactly what they're thinking. And B, it means that what I'm going to show you means that you're never going to have blank page syndrome again. You're never going to be kind of worrying about what to write, because this process I'm going to take you through is going to give you loads and loads of ideas for all of your copy and your content needs, and you can apply it to any part of your business. Thing to bear in mind is that copywriting isn't subjective, that it isn't creative in the same way as maybe other types of writing are. It's about research. That's the whole point of copy. It's like you do your research, you test, you iterate, you change, and you try again. And so this is the backbone of everything that I do. And I kind of want to help you to get into that frame of mind as well when you're writing for your business. So what I'm going to share with you is something, I've got my client to run some interviews with women in his audience. Now, some people, you might be tempted to kind of send out surveys. Like you might see, okay, if you send out a survey and you'll get some sort of, information, language back that way. However, the problem with surveys is that you need a lot of them to kind of get any actionable data. And whereas if you just do a few interviews, I've said 7 here, you could probably just get away with 3 or 4. They're going to give you as much data and language as if you did around 100 surveys. And the thing with the interviews is that you get people to kind of talk, and when they're talking in a conversation, then what comes out is like genuinely what they're thinking and feeling. Whereas if you're asking them to write something for you, like a survey would be, you're getting a kind of edited version because they're going to be self-editing, because the process of writing is different to the process of talking. All right, so with the market research interviews for my clients, I gave him a copy of this document, and all that this is, it was just some goals to keep in mind, what it is that he wanted to get out of the conversation with the people in his audience, and also some prompts here, some questions to kind of help you guide the conversation. But when you're doing this for yourself, what you need to bear in mind is that it's not an interview. It is a conversation. Let it flow, and just have these sort of questions and stuff up as a way to guide you. But basically, you just want to ask open-ended questions that allows the person you're talking to just talk naturally and just get it out, what it is that they're thinking and what they want to say. And then after running the calls or the interviews, what I get done then is get it transcribed. So I use software called Otter, and it just turns all the audio into written stuff. And then I move everything into what I call my messaging matrix document. And so this is a blank example here. And look, I'm constantly refining and kind of trying to make this as good as I can be. But in essence, what it is that you take all the language you've got and then you just organize it into some key kind of messaging buckets. So anything that they're talking about, the struggle that they're going through, anything where they're talking about what the outcomes that they want, what the wins or breakthroughs that they're looking for, anything that differentiates you from other solutions in your industry, and any objections or hesitations, any reasons that people maybe wouldn't sign up to your program. And so we put it all into this document. And here's the example from my client. So the actual document I had was much longer than this, but I kind of edited it down. But what you do, or what I did here, is that I took all the language that they'd said, all the kind of stuff that they talked about, and then I put it into buckets within the 4 main things. So things that they were struggling with. So there were certain phrases here that when you look at them all, are kind of saying the same thing. And in this instance, they were struggling to put themselves first. So this is kind of one of the pain points they've got. And then underneath it, I've got some different examples of ways that this particular audience has described what that struggle feels like, or how it shows up for them in their everyday life. So same thing with the outcomes. There are lots of outcomes, and then I sort of broke them into buckets. So things like, their focus isn't just about losing weight, but there's a focus on long-term fitness and health. And this is like a really important message to pull out that we could then put onto the sales page, because the program was about helping them to not just lose weight, but to take those women who are they've hit some initial goals at the gym and want to, look at a longer-term plan for their long-term fitness and health. And so there was lots of different things to say with the differentiators. So, hopefully you can just see here, this is the process. You take the language, put it into these kind of broad categories, and then sort of put them together into buckets to give you these messages, these different things that, you can use on the sales page, but also that you find out is, really important stuff to your audience. And you can keep coming back to this document over and over again. It's going to just kind of feed ideas for you and for your business. Okay, and so this is a sort of overview of the sales page framework. I actually use a Google document, but what I've done here is just create a kind of more visual breakdown of it, so you can kind of see how it works as a sales page. So, at the top we need to start with, there's always a headline and sub-headline, and then this is the bit at the top with a call to action that you may or may not have, depending on what your kind of funnel on what your sales page looks like. You then want to kind of call out, and within my framework, there's different, like you don't have to do it this way, but this is one example. So you can kind of call out some, big benefits, like helping them to imagine in the future what their life would look or feel like once they've achieved what their benefits and outcomes are. And then we sort of tell a story and paint a picture to, again, we can either dig into a pain point here or talk about an outcome. And I'm going to show you a concrete example in a minute. And then you can, introduce the program, talking about the benefits, talking about the features and any bonuses, and a summary at the bottom. So this is just a high level sort of overview of a sales page framework with all the kind of main things that you'd want to hit with it. But as I say, when actually doing this, this is a framework as a starting point, but when I work with my clients, we kind of, I completely, it's not one size fits all. So, there's a lot that can be moved around and changed, but this kind of just to give you that high level of overview of a really good starting point. And then here's part of, this isn't the final sales page. Again, I've just sort of edited it down for the sake of this training, but what you can see here is that I have, we've got the headline and the sub-headline at the top. We've got some benefits, just pulling out another big benefit so that the person reading it can really relate to it. Again, some other outcomes that they would be looking for, and then introducing the program and then, it's quite long with all the benefits and features. So what I wanted to focus on up here is this stuff that I have highlighted in green. So this language and these ideas, so this idea of weight fluctuations and energy slumps, is what came out from that market research. This is the language that was in the messaging matrix when I pulled it all together. This idea of weight fluctuations came through a lot, that, these women, it wasn't just about losing weight because they tried stuff before. What they wanted was something different that's going to help them maintain it and kind of stay consistent and not have that kind of yo-yo, weight fluctuation. So it was one of the main things that came out. So this is why I've put it into the headline, because that's kind of the big outcome they want. They want something that gives them consistency and long-term, just a long-term healthy lifestyle. And again, these big benefits that I've put here, again, it's language that has come out. So these are literal sentences that came out from the interview. Somebody saying, I'm feeling fitter than I felt for an awfully long time. This was something that somebody said, that they were really excited to be going out with people their own age and, not being out of breath. And again, remembering the demographic, that these are for women who are 35 plus, a lot of them are 50 plus. So, this is important to them in a way that if your audience was somebody in their 20s, this isn't going to be something that's relevant to them. So by using their language, that you're completely dialed into what's going on in their life and, explaining exactly what the benefits are for them specifically. This one here as well, this was a sentence that someone said, and it jumped out to me. I thought it was really powerful. And so we've used it here in a cross headline. This idea of being a role model for your kids came through as being quite a big benefit. So again, it's not just about, losing weight or looking a certain way or even feeling a certain way. A big part of it for a lot of these women was that by looking after their own health, they're being a role model for their daughters, and that a lot of them, there are quite a few instances in the testimonials and stuff where they were talking about how their daughters had started working out and adopting more healthy lifestyle. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I just kind of wanted to show you that process of taking, instead of just kind of brainstorming and making stuff up, we have a step-by-step process. And to recap it, this is what it looks like. So do the language research, have the interviews, look at your testimonials, spend time listening to what people are saying, and what it is that they're really struggling with and what it is that they really want to achieve. Then have a place where you collate all the language and messages. So I've got this messaging matrix. You've got a copy of that, or you should have a copy of that if you're watching this video. If you haven't, let me reach out to me and I can send it through to you. And then you have that as your inspiration whenever you sit down to write anything, any sort of sales copy. So I've shown you how it could work today for a sales page, but it works for writing emails. It works really, really well with a social media content plan, because you just end up with tons and tons of ideas that you can use for writing your content. And if you want me to help you implement this into your business, fill out the form for a copy clarity session, and we can have a look at how we can take this idea and put it into a strategy for you. And so what that would look like is, this is the starting point, get all the messaging together, and then work out, and then we will create assets for your business depending on what it is that you do. So if you've got your funnel, we can get all these assets written for your funnel, or rework what you've got already to make sure that your messaging is really, really aligned with your audience, rather than just kind of putting stuff out there and hoping for the best or guessing. This is a process that will allow you to dial it right in, and we would work together to make sure it's working, and checking it's working and making adjustments as needed. So yeah, just the bit.ly/copy clarity session if you would like one of those. Okay, thanks.